Hello folks, welcome back to this week's edition of Reflections with the Rocker. This past weekend, if there's air, should look good. This past weekend, did this show for Windfall Wrestling in the Forum in Rome, Georgia. As I'm heading to the show, I'm like, take a little slight detour and go pay a visit to a very special, magical place to myself and a lot of us older wrestlers. If you was running shows in Rome back in the day, this was the building to run it. So it was a lot of people consider it to be the Madison Square Garden of the Southeast. I'm talking about Dillard's Music Park. And then when you pull up to it, it's gravel everywhere. It's just a long building, nothing fancy, nothing pretty. And even in the inside, wasn't really much. It had some old bleachers, chairs on the floor, a ring that could actually fold up and slide to the road. It had an old stage because they used to, perform so. But the building used to be at one point was also for a drive-in theater at the time. But oh my God, it's a lot of magic happened, and I first got a taste of it in the mid '80s. Traveling with my brother to the shows. He was wrestling, and I was doing photography work. Yeah, it's just a lot of people stuff. Ted Allen was actually was running the shows there. I think under Pete State Wrestling at the time. He was doing a lot of weekly shows. That was the first place. One of the first times I worked a legendary wrestler happened in that place, and it was against Pretty Boy Doug Summers. I mean, in my era, it was. I was just going to run off some names between my era when I first started there, and then kind of through it all that. But they had the Jim Powells, the Wrestling Twos, the Randy Rose, the Nightmares. Of course, my brother Steve Lawler, Mr. Atlanta, Iceberg Tank, Lee Thomas, Sunset Sam McGraw. Billy Black, Sunset Sam McGraw I mentioned became Bull Buchanan, so we had a lot of names come out of the place. A lot of names that were names come through the place. WCW used to do some shows when Ted was booking some shows for WCW. They come through there. Scotty Riggs, Brian Armstrong, which he did some matches. Actually, I was one of his first matches here in Atlanta area. When he got out of the Marine Corps, but you probably know him better as Road Dogg. And actually the whole Armstrong family has wrestled in that building. Let's see. The Ardens, Kenny Ardens, Ken Timms, Bobby Hayes, David Young, Dusty Dotson's, Big Mac Steele, Scott Prater, Tommy Wildfire Rich, Joel Deaton, Danny D, Sammy Kent, just on and on. I mentioned, yeah, it's like a who's who came through there. Pee Wee Anderson, Big Boss Man had one of his final matches before he passed away. Was there, and the funny story is he was getting ready to leave, and like I said mentioned earlier about the gravel, he went to her out, gravel went flying everywhere, and here comes Ben Dillard, who owned the place, out of his little trailer, had his gun in hand, had his wife beater on, his old man boxers on, and I'm like, who the hell was that, blah blah, and of course we didn't give up the Big Boss Man. Wow, we just told me it was some random fan that left there. I was saying, we did TV tapings, house shows, craziness. I don't want to miss names. Like I said, mentioned had some bluegrass going on in the first half of the building. A really good concession stand. Ben and Maureen ran the place. Miss Maureen did the cooking, and what's her name, Joan, helped out sometimes. You had JB Body Slam. I mean, it was just a very magical place. Team Extreme had our first match there. Let's see what else. I mean, it's just so much to try to remember and to do this place justice, but it was just very magical. It was a big show, like a Memorial Day show, and it was brother versus brother, because my brother and myself, and they had us in a wrong street fight match. And we got there, and they had us mid card, and I told my brother, so I'm tired of people making money off of us not always getting along, and it happens, and they would take advantage of us not getting along because they really get a good solid match. And I told them that night, I was like, hey, this is it. This is the last one. I said, they put us on mid-card. We're going to tear the place down. We got some liquid courage, got numb enough. We didn't feel nothing, and nothing was pulled. There's a video out there. YouTube that one. Another fun story, one of my wrestling sons, Lamar, had the keys to the handcuff. He was going down the store to get some more adult beverages. Forgot that he's involved, that he needs to unlock the handcuffs I was with. So it was a funny story there. There's some good stories, magical stories. Recently, 2 years ago, they did a NWA reunion back in there. The Hall of Fame induction had Abdul the Butcher was there. That night I became a two-time NAWA Hall of Famer. Phil Hebner was running the show there. At one point, I popped in after leaving Eric Parrish or Fabulous Frank, however you want to remember him. He's my little brother. Left his house, stopped by just to say hello to Phil, and he was like, perfect. I need you to do me a favor. I'm like, why? He goes, I need you to induct Bobby Eaton to our Hall of Fame. I'm like, when? He goes, oh, in a couple minutes. And didn't give him much time to plan. Bobby Eaton was a very super down-to-earth guy. Nobody can say nothing bad about him. I got sister stories of him, like that, so how he inspired us, his team stream and everything else. So there's a lot of magic happened there. Oh man, it's just when you get ready to leave. Of course, you have like female wrestlers. I've dropped some more names. Bambi and Peggy Lee was there. Sammy Kent, I don't know if we mentioned them. Danny D's. It's just, you know, during that time that the late '80s, early '90s was a hot time to be in wrestling, and that was the place. The Dillard's Music Park was the place to run. And as you leave, depends what route. My route always took me back. I think it's like 411. There's a gas station. Busted right out of the building, hits the road, turn left, and stop sign, red light. Anyway, we always go by there, and then this usually the same lady working on Saturday night says, "Hey, today y'all have wrestling?" I said, "Yes, ma'am." Was that old Wildfire Tommy Rich there? I said, most of the time I say no, ma'am. Every now and then you get to say yes, ma'am. It makes her happy like that. But it was always there. Gam was guaranteed that she would ask that question. Boom. Yes, and then another moment that I remember was 1996 Christmas Chaos. Halfway through the show, it was nothing planned, no lead up to it, no discussion. It was like, boom. They gave me full control of the production behind the scenes of the company. I just paused for a minute, grabbed the ball, and I ran with it, took off running, and I never slowed down. That particular deal was the bad guys was EZWA, which is my team. We was doing a winner takes all against NGWA base. So I did this video too, a longer version of how we need to get rid of that name. So we won. Took over. The following month was also the new year. NAWA was born, which is still running today. You can find them on Facebook, but they're still running in the Dalton area. But took up running, and then '97, you know, all this deal. I said we had no nationally known names, just our local stars, and we run every Saturday night stuff, and we was doing like 200 to 300 people every Saturday night, which kind of was very hard in that area, in that time frame. But we were doing stuff because we were putting out quality shows. And so all those that I didn't mention, and those that did mention, thank you for trusting me as your booker with your guidance of your career path. It took everybody, first match, last match, to make the happen stuff, but at the end of the day, that I had like creative control of stuff like that. So thank you for trusting me, and I hope I did you proud stuff. Yeah, this place, like I said, a lot of matches happened. I went by there on one of the shows, took some photos of something, and it still looks like they get fresh coat of paint because somebody else took it over, stuff like that. I don't know what's inside, but when I was going around to leave, and it is on the edge of the road, the sign's still there. It's kind of like me, it's faded, aged out, but still there as a reminder of what little bit of magic that you was there, stuff like that. 2017, when I thought I was done with my health injuries, the bill was not available. Right across the road was a skate center, and I got to have my retirement match there. Before my match, I wheeled in to Dillard's, just trying to soak in some of that last bit of magic, last bit of love before I retired. Yes, I'm still retired, but Jesus, this is still the forever encore presentation tour. But yeah, if you were a fan, or or if you've actually wrestled or something, I please share your photos, memories, stories, whatever you want to do like that. Please, in the comments, all that stuff. Yes, I just sorry for rambling on. Hope this made sense, and yeah, it's just been one of those deals. Like, I didn't forget about it, but sometimes you need a reminder. And in this past weekend's show for One Fall Wrestling, was a reminder to go by and just kind of go down memory lane and share some stories with you guys. A little shout out to Pat Rose, who says he's never wrestled there, but he gave me some encouragement this weekend to keep doing these. He's enjoying them, and I hope you are too. If you got any suggestions, just hit me up. And like my grandson and I, Poops and Pops, like to say, peace, love, see y'all.